So today we're tying this. It's a Zonker type streamer that uses dubbing loops to form the head. If you tie these with the hide still on for the head of the fly will soak up tons of water when fishing and become difficult to cast. A couple years ago I tied this exact fly, but since I've gotten the Pedagene clip system, I found this much easier to tie now with that system. So I wanted to show you guys this again and how you can save time tying this fly. We will need a streamer hook. I really like these O'Shaughnessy hooks from Risen, hopefully I said that right, and today I'm using a size 4. They are in the stinger shape, which I think is perfect for this fly. You could of course use a more traditional streamer hook, but I find that the shank is just a little bit too long. And for the thread I'm using Vivis 6/0. Start your thread an eye length or two behind the eye of the hook and bring it down to the bend of the hook to form a thread base. Snip or snap off the thread. End with your thread right at the hook bend. For this fly you will need a minimum of 2 rabbit strip colors. A bright color for the belly, and whatever color you want for the body. Now I'm also using a separate color for the head of the fly. Strip off a small amount of the fur from the brightly colored strip. Dub this onto your thread and make a dubbing ball right behind the start of the hook bend. Now we will measure out the body colored Zonker strip to about the length of the hook shank. You can see this strip's hide goes from the back of the hook bend to the eye of the hook. While not necessary, I like cutting a notch at the back of the Zonker strip to aid in the tail moving a bit more. Place the strip on top of the hook shank with the hide extending back about 2 times the hook bend length. Split the fur on top of the Zonker to expose the hide where you plan on tying in. I find it helps to wet the fur to keep it out of the way. Then make a wrap to hold the strip on top of the hook shank, then adjust the strip if you need to ensure that it's directly on top. And make a couple more wraps, tightening the thread with each wrap to ensure this does not slip. Pull the hide rearward and make a wrap in front of it. Now we need more rabbit fur for some dubbing. Strip off about 2 to 3 times as much as you did before. Dub this onto your thread and then wrap up the hook shank, and you want to stop just shy of how far up the strip hide ends. Right about here is perfect. Now make a dubbing loop. To do this, place your finger on the thread and double it up. Make a wrap over the hook shank, then bring your thread up and over the newly formed loop. Then wrap over the loop and bring it rearward to close off the end. Add a dubbing twister to the end, and then I place it open like so over this little screw on my vise. Bring your thread up a wrap or 2 and out of the way. Now we're going to form the head on this fly in 3 stages. First, snip off a small piece of this brightly colored hide like so. Wet the fiber slightly so it straightens it, and then clip the fiber at the very end of the smallest clip. Cut off the hide and then set this clip aside. Let's make all the fur clips now so we can move quicker as we start to tie. For the body color, stroke the fibers rearward, then push it into the table clip. You might need to use your other fingers to open it slightly, but it will finally snap into place like so. At this point you can adjust the fur slightly by pulling it so one end is completely inside the clip, and you can pull the fiber up from the other end ensuring that all the fibers are straight up and down like so. Then cut off the excess hide. Now use the large clip to grasp the fiber, ensuring that it is at the end of the clip, and then release the strip from the table clip. Now cut the hide off and set this aside. And now we'll get the last head strip ready. Use a medium-sized table clip, push the strip into the clip, and then do all the same things you did with the previous hide. Only this time we will not use the clip to remove it yet, since the system only comes with 2 regular clips. So set the table clip aside. Okay, now grab the belly fur, put it in your dubbing loop, twist up and wind onto the hook shank with touching wraps, pulling the fibers rearward as you wrap. When you go to capture the loop, you want to pull the loop out, bring your thread up under it, and then wrap over and under again. Now pull the loop rearward and wrap over it a couple times before cutting off the waist. Brush out the fiber, then pull it rearward and tie back over it with a couple wraps. Wet your fingers and stroke the collar fibers down. Now pull the Zonker up and over the collar and tie in the tip of the Zonker tightly. Make another dubbing loop, add the second clip that we made with the white fur, spin it up, wrap it onto the thread with touching wraps, ensuring to leave a little room at the head of the fly. Capture the loop and remove it in the same way. Now we need some flash. I like this Mirage Flashabou. We will need 2 strands. Quick tip, if you wet the ends of the strands, it will keep them together. Put the Flashabou on the side of the fly like so, in line with the hook shank. You can make this long all the way to the tail if you wish, but I keep it to about the back of the hook bend. Tie this in on one side of the hook like so, and then bend the forward-facing strands rearward and around to the other side of the fly, then tie this section down and cut it off to the same length. Now make another dubbing loop. Take the largest clip that is now free of fiber and clip it in the same way. Of course, cut off the hide and then add this to your dubbing loop. Spin it up, wind it onto the hook shank with touching wraps, pulling the fibers back with each wrap, and then try to end right behind the hook eye. Capture the loop, trim off the waist, whip finish, and you are done with the tying portion of this fly. But one super important step is to brush out the entire fly. Take a toothbrush and brush the fibers forward and then rearward. Then I like to wet the entire fly to compress the fibers slightly and to ensure that they are trained to extend rearward. And there we go, this fly is now finished. Let this dry and it's ready to fish and imitate a small bait fish. However, I feel one last step is necessary. I really like to cement the head with this Solarez Ultra Thin. This will protect the whip finish from a fish's tooth and also shine up that whip finish to look super nice. The built-in brush in the cap makes this super handy. Then just cure with your UV light and it is rock hard with no tackiness. Alright, well I was hoping this fly would dry quicker, so I'm trying to brush it out so I can show you guys a final look of the fly after it is dry. Okay, well not completely dry, but good enough. Here's the finished fly. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think. By the way, I did not come up with this pattern. It's been around for a while. This is just my take on it. If you haven't already, please check out my sponsor, Risen Fly. They made the hooks and scissors I use today. They also make great quality rods and reels at excellent prices. Best off, they're offering all of you a discount just for being my subscriber. So type in McFly at checkout when you go to www.risenfly.com and you will get 15% off your first order with them. If you guys like this kind of content, please subscribe and hit that bell notification for future video updates. Also, if you guys could hit the like button, it would really help me and the channel out. I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.